It is time for our weekly Mayor's Chat and time to check in with St. Catharines Mayor Walter Sendzik. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bob. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been, Mayor, or teacher. You put out a very unique call. I think you're probably the first mayor in Canada to do this. Tell us.
Oh, there's a couple of us doing it. I got about 25 classes I'll be jumping in on over the next little while. And it's just an opportunity, one, to touch base with the students, everywhere from grade 2 up to high school. And two is it's to give teachers a bit of a break. And as we know, in this online environment, it's quite hectic, and you're expending a lot of energy trying to keep the kids engaged. So I'm hoping with a bit of a break, I can jump in there and talk about what's going on in the city, and also ask them some questions about what they think about St. Catharines. So get a perspective from a different demographic here in our community.
Right. So you obviously got a lot of takers on this.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of takers, and it's great because again, I think teachers are looking for different content that they can bring to their students, and it's not always easy when they're in person to bring people into the classroom, but on the virtual way, it's much more accommodating to be able to jump onto a Zoom classroom and say, hey, it's the mayor, what's going on in the classroom, what's going on in our community, than it is to go to a school and get all those kids in one grouping. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, when's your first one? When does it start?
Today.
Today, okay.
About 45 minutes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, next week, can't wait to hear about your experience. We'll talk about that. So how are things going in St. Catharines? How's the vaccination push?
The vaccination push is going well, and obviously, just like most other communities, we're in the high 80s for first doses. Second doses, we're low 80s, 70, 76, 77%. So a strong majority of our community has been vaccinated, and you're seeing that in the numbers, how people are being protected. But what we're seeing here, Bob, especially in our community, but I think a lot of other communities across Ontario, is the work shortages. Yeah. And so we've experienced some work shortages, and that was anticipated.
Yeah, and with the city, I mean, is there an impact to services here?
Yeah, we had to close one of our libraries because there was a staff shortage in our library system. I can say that looking at other areas, that there is a concern that as this new variant rolls through the community, especially with employees that are on the streets, people who are looking after our roads, looking after our water mains and things like that, that there is a concern, even we look at transit as well, and that there will be staff shortages. So it's an anticipation. If everyone continues to look after themselves and just make sure that they're taking care of their physical well-being, we're hoping that we can get through this over the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully, Bob, we'll be seeing some kind of return to more normalcy as we head into the spring.
Yes, absolutely. That would be great. Now, meantime, we've got all these restrictions in place. And has bylaw issued any fines or warnings? We've had some cases in Hamilton. What's the situation in St. Catharines? Are businesses pushing back?
Well, they're not really pushing back. There's been a lot of respect for what's been brought in. Obviously, it's creating a lot of concerns for the business owners. But what we've seen is through education, through understanding, we've really come together as a community. Our businesses have stood up and said, what can we do to be a part of the positive way through this? And so it is a struggle for a lot of businesses. But what we're seeing is generally the businesses are following the public health guidelines that have been set. And we're all anticipating that we'll be through this in the next little while. And then we can throw the doors open and say, let's get back to business.
Can't wait for that. Before we go, let's talk about the Main Street program.
Yeah, talk about business again. And so the Main Street program is a federal program, and it's about it's called Main Street Ambassadors, and it's about getting businesses in our downtown area and in the Meriton area, encouraging new business development, encouraging them to expand their businesses. And we're also focused on the BIPOC community as well as the LGBTQ2+ community. And so getting more of those business entrepreneurs into our spaces so that we can continue to grow our economy as we come out of the pandemic.
Okay, 30 seconds left. What's your big priority item if you have to pick one for 2022?
2022 is going to be housing, Bob. It's a crisis, and it's facing so many people in our communities, and so we've got to get a handle on it. It's going to be a long-term thing, but we've got on our Geneva Street property that we've sold that. It's going to be a affordable housing complex, 250 units. That's just the start of what we've got to do, but we got to do it with the private sector. We got to do it with the not-for-profits. housing is a crisis in many communities, and we've got to address it this year.
Yeah, and this is just the start of our many conversations this year on that and many other issues in St. Catharines. We always appreciate your visits. St. Catharines Mayor Walter Sendzik, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Take care.